Welcome back, learner, to another deep dive. I mean, imagine stepping into a world where just a single sigh instantly summons everything you could ever need.
Yeah, a world where communication takes basically zero effort.
Exactly. And the people around you are these literal telepathic angels forever frozen at age 18.
It's quite the image.
It really is. So today, we are opening up a wildly surreal, like highly poetic text from September 2006.
Right, written by an author named Sweefing.
Yes, Weifeng. And it carries this very bold title, All Ladies in Lifechanyuan Are 18. We are going to unpack how this intensely descriptive document constructs an absolute cosmic ideal of femininity.
And spiritual perfection, too. But before we dive into the vivid imagery of this text, let's just establish some clear parameters for our exploration today,
Yeah, definitely. That's important.
Because this document outlines the philosophy of a specific group known as Lifechanyuan, and our mission here isn't to evaluate the real-world practices of this group or to, endorse this framework at all.
Right. We are stepping into this text strictly as observers.
Exactly. We just want to impartially analyze the mechanics of the author's utopian vision. We want to look closely at how extreme language and these striking metaphors are deployed to build a flawless, idealized reality from the ground up.
Okay, well, let's unpack this.
Yeah.
Because right out of the gate, that title makes a massive, literal-sounding claim.
It really does. All ladies in Lifechanyuan are 18.
But when you actually read the text, the way the author justifies this physically, it has nothing to do with birth certificates or human biology.
No, not at all.
It uses this relentless barrage of nature metaphors to establish a baseline of impossible vitality.
Yeah, the author compares these women to the rising sun, the mid-autumn moon.
The very first blooming buds of a flower.
Right, and freshly ripe peaches.
Yeah.
And notice the specific moments in time those metaphors capture.
Like the exact microsecond of peak emergence.
Exactly. The rising sun, the first bud, the freshly ripe peach. The author is obsessively focusing on the exact microsecond right before entropy or decay can even begin.
Wow, yeah. And the text pushes that even further by describing them as spotless, elegant lotus flowers that have just emerged from the water, hung with crystal dewdrops.
It's highly stylized.
Very. And the author explicitly claims that even after 10,000 years, the passage of time and the human world cannot change their beauty.
Right. They defy time completely.
It actually states that their beauty surpasses the legendary ancient beauties, like the ones who supposedly made wild geese alight from the sky,
Made fish dive down out of shame.
obscured the moon, and made flowers blush. But the Lifechanyuan lady's spiritual appearance is just forever fixed at 18.
That's a bold comparison.
It is. When I read this, it honestly sounded like a permanent, supernatural Instagram filter for the soul.
That's a really good way to put it.
But I have to push back on this concept of being permanently 18. Like, is the reader meant to take this as a literal physical suspension? Or is 18 just functioning as a metaphor for a completely untainted state of mind?
Well, what's fascinating here is how the text deliberately weaponizes the concept of 18 to mean both.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it blurs the line until biological age just becomes irrelevant. The author treats 18 as a spiritual zenith.
So it's more about the peak of perfection.
Exactly. If you look at the sheer variety of beauties the text lists, it encompasses everything. It says their beauty is solemn, elegant, spiritual, humanistic, and virtuous.
So it's an all-encompassing perfection that transcends the physical body entirely.
Right. And the text is quite literal about that energetic radiation. It says their words are like a goddess scattering flowers that splendid the sky.
That's so poetic.
It goes so far as to claim that simply staying with them day after day makes you feel like you are flying millions of miles away to a super celestial being's place.
Wait, really? A super celestial being's life?
Yes. So the age at 18 in this philosophical framework, it's a mechanism for transcendence. It represents a fixed point of spiritual purity that mathematically elevates anyone who comes into its orbit.
Offering like an escape velocity from the decay of the normal human world.
Precisely.
But, I mean, this static frozen perfection creates an immediate logistical problem.
How so?
Well, if you are a messy, flawed human living in the real world, how do you even begin to communicate with a flawlessly pure being without ruining them?
Ah, right.
If they're perfectly serene lotuses, normal human interaction feels like it would just crush them.
Which forces the author to completely reinvent the mechanics of relationship dynamics. The text actually has to solve the problem of human friction.
And the solution it offers is wild. According to the author, you don't need to talk anxiously, you don't need to repeat yourself, and you never ever yell.
The communication is entirely frictionless.
Yes, the text claims that just a slight frown reveals your thoughts to them. Raising a hand shows them what you want.
A gentle cough brings their love instantly.
And a short sigh means their, quote, scent of caring will soak your heart right away.
The sensory details here are designed to eliminate the burden of articulation entirely.
The author even claims they have telepathic abilities, that your hearts can interact freely even if you are thousands of miles away.
Yeah, and their affection is compared to a gurgling clear brook,
A magnificent sea.
the warm sun on the coldest winter days, and a cool breeze in the sweltering summer.
But look at the function of those elemental comparisons. Warm sun in winter, cool breeze in summer.
Right, the interaction is never challenging. It is always perfectly calibrated to neutralize whatever discomfort you are experiencing.
It is a promise of absolute equilibrium.
Exactly.
But let's think about the reality of what is being proposed here. They analyze a single sigh from miles away and instantly soak your heart with caring.
It's a lot of attention.
Learner, imagine that level of surveillance. That sounds less like a human relationship and more like an omniscient, perfectly programmed AI that anticipates your needs before you even know you have them.
It does sound a bit intense.
Right. Wouldn't that constant telepathic monitoring of your emotional state be suffocating? Where's the space for privacy? Or even just having a bad mood and peace?
I mean, that reaction makes complete sense for someone grounded in reality. But we have to understand why the author frames this as the supreme comfort.
Okay, why?
Think about standard human communication. Articulating your needs requires immense emotional labor, you know?
Yeah, it definitely does.
It risks misunderstanding, it invites rejection, it causes anxiety. The text proposes a fantasy where the entire risk of being human is just deleted.
Ah, I see.
The promise of living in a sea of love and a fairyland on earth appeals directly to the exhaustion of daily life. The author is betting that the reader is so tired of the friction of normal relationships that they will gladly trade their emotional privacy.
Just for the guarantee of being perfectly, instantly understood without ever having to speak a complicated sentence again.
Exactly.
It's the ultimate fantasy of regression. Like being cared for with the intuition a mother has for an infant, but scaled up to a cosmic level.
That's a perfect analogy.
But if they're perfectly compliant, telepathic caregivers who just bring you a cool breeze when you're hot, they risk becoming boring, right?
Absolutely.
A utopian text can't let its perfect beings become sterile or purely maternal. So how does the author maintain the reader's engagement? It introduces a massive paradox.
Yeah, the tone of the text undergoes a violent shift here.
The author subtly insists that a woman without sexiness is only half beautiful.
A very sharp pivot.
Very. The text compares a woman without sexiness to a king without a crown, a peacock or a phoenix missing all its feathers, or a delicacy without salt.
And their sexiness is described in destructive, almost overwhelming terms.
Yes. The text says it is a tornado that leaves people drunk with desire, and a, quote, black hole in the universe that swallows human rationality.
The invocation of a black hole completely changes the stakes of the text.
It really does.
A black hole isn't just attractive, it is an inescapable event horizon that crushes everything into a singularity.
The text even claims people would prefer to be ghosts just to be with these women, rather than be prestigious humans in the real world.
Wow.
But then, almost in the same breath, the author pivots aggressively back to absolute, untouchable purity.
Right back to where we started.
Exactly. It states they are made of the purest, clearest, and most transparent spiritual water from when the greatest creator first made the universe.
And he's very specific about what kind of water.
Very. He goes out of his way to explicitly state they are not made of the murky water of the Yellow River, or bitter seawater, or stagnant pond water filled with bacteria.
Right.
They are so gentle, like snow-white cotton or clouds caressing the sky, that they cannot be touched, for they will melt away, and cannot be shouted at, for they will disappear.
The architectural design of these beings is deliberately contradictory.
Here's where it gets really interesting, though, because the contradiction feels impossible to reconcile.
It really does.
It's like mixing a delicate watercolor painting that washes away if you just breathe on it, with a heavy metal guitar solo that blows out your speakers.
I love that analogy.
Right. I mean, how can someone be an untouchable cloud and a rationality-swallowing black hole at the same time?
It's a lot to process.
And I have to challenge this. The text frames this as spiritual perfection. But isn't this just a very transparent male fantasy disguised as cosmic enlightenment?
That's a fair critique.
It sounds like an excuse to have a breathtaking, perfectly compliant servant who also possesses mind-bending, destructive sex appeal.
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture of utopian literature, merging opposing desires into one flawless vessel is actually a highly effective mechanism for ideological control.
Okay, well, unpack that for me.
The author describes these women as finely polished gems and works of art like Venus. He is marrying that untouchable divinity with profound earthly desire.
Okay, I see that.
And the function of this paradox isn't just to fulfill a fantasy, it is designed to short-circuit human rationality entirely.
Oh, wow.
Think about it. If a being is an untouchable cloud that melts when touched, you must approach them with absolute reverence and submission.
Right, you have to be incredibly careful.
But if they are also a black hole that swallows your rationality, you are stripped of your ability to critically analyze the situation.
You're completely disarmed.
Exactly. The text demands the total surrender of the mundane ego. You are paralyzed by their purity and consumed by your desire for them, leaving subservience as the only logical response.
You were basically trapped between the fear of breaking the pristine cloud and the gravitational pull of the black hole.
Yes.
But imposing beings with that much power into any kind of social structure is a recipe for disaster.
Oh, completely.
If you have a society full of irresistible, rationality-swallowing, telepathic perfection, human nature dictates there would be explosive conflict. People would fight over them. The envy would tear the community apart.
The logistics of it are impossible for normal humans.
Exactly. How does a utopian blueprint deal with the inevitable logistical nightmare of jealousy?
By completely erasing human agency and rewriting the origin story of the women themselves.
Wait, rewriting their origin story?
Yeah, the text cannot allow them to be human because humans are inherently competitive.
Okay, so the author declares that the ugliest person in the world is a jealous woman. But he promises that the Chanyuan ladies possess absolutely zero jealousy.
Right, they exist entirely outside of competition.
They only admire and praise one another. And the text justifies this by revealing they aren't highly evolved humans at all.
No, they're not.
They're literal angels who come from the 1,000-year world and 10,000-year world specifically to help living beings in the human world.
They function as an imported divine intervention.
Right, they're alien to us.
The author recognizes that human beings cannot cure their own flaws, so he brings in celestial technology to do the job.
And the text states their purpose with this really striking image. It says that just as flowers can crush stones, these angels can dissolve human animosity and soften even the hardest hearts.
It's a powerful metaphor.
It is. The ultimate vision of this entire document is the arrival of the future Lifechanyuan era, a world where these ladies have free reign to operate. But learner, think about the physics of that metaphor. If human animosity is a literal stone, and these women are the flowers meant to crush it,
Yeah.
if we dissolve all of our hard edges, our friction, and our jealousies, are we even human anymore?
This raises an important question about the underlying goal of utopian ideologies.
Sure.
When you analyze the mechanics of this text, it becomes clear that it is proposing a total societal reboot that requires the erasure of human nature.
Erasing what makes us us.
Exactly. It operates on the premise that human flaws, our animosity, our jealousy, our miscommunications, they aren't just challenges to overcome, they are a fatal disease.
And these celestial beings, these 18-year-old spiritual lotuses, are the cosmic cure.
Right. The text suggests that salvation doesn't come from humans doing the difficult, messy work of improving themselves or learning to communicate better.
Which is hard work.
It is. Instead, salvation comes from being bathed in the effortless, telepathic, perfect love of unearthly figures who dissolve our sharp edges for us.
Whoa.
It is the ultimate outsourcing of emotional growth.
We hand over our messy humanity, and in return, we get the fairyland on Earth.
Precisely.
So what does this all mean? We have navigated an incredibly surreal architectural blueprint of perfection today.
We really have.
We started with eternal 18-year-old spiritual lotuses covered in crystal dew, desperately avoiding the decay of time.
Then we moved into the mechanics of telepathic companions who cure anxiety with a perfectly timed cool breeze.
Right. Then we plunged into the psychological trap of the rationality-swallowing black hole of attraction.
And finally, we arrived at cosmic angels imported from the 10,000-year world.
Designed to literally crush human animosity and usher in a frictionless era.
The progression of the text is a masterclass in building an inescapable ideological structure.
It really pulls you in step by step.
It isolates the reader from the mundane world, offers them an impossible comfort, strips them of their rationality, and then presents the absolute cure for their societal pain.
And the author finishes this architectural marvel with a highly dramatic concluding confession.
Oh, the ending is fascinating.
It is. After building this towering monument of metaphors, after comparing them to the rising sun, the purest spiritual water, and Venus herself, the author claims his language is simply too pale to describe their excellent qualities.
He says words fail him.
Right. And he ends by stating that the greatest honor in life is simply having the opportunity to wash the feet of Chanyuan ladies.
The transition from describing a cosmic black hole to the act of washing feet is the final mechanism of the text locking into place.
How so?
It demands ultimate, unquestioning devotion. For anyone listening to our analysis today, studying texts like this offers profound insight into how extreme ideologies are constructed.
They build on our exhaustion, don't they?
Exactly. They almost always build their foundations on a promise to eliminate the exhausting realities of human nature. They offer a glittering escape hatch from the daily friction of life.
Promising that if you simply surrender your rationality and your ego to these perfect, unearthly figures, they will do all the emotional heavy lifting for you.
It is the ultimate promise of relief.
It really is. But it brings us right back to the core of what it means to connect with another person.
Yeah.
This text imagines a universe where the solution to all human pain is absolute, flawless, telepathic perfection. A reality without a single sharp edge.
No friction at all.
None. But I want to leave you, the learner, with a final thought to explore on your own. If you strip away all of our human flaws, if you delete our miscommunications, our messy, irrational emotions, and all the friction that requires us to try, fail, and forgive, do we lose the very mechanism that makes our love and our connections meaningful in the first place?